Good evening, good afternoon, good everything. This is Reginal Drummer, the peopleologist, and author of the book, Find Them, Focus, Follow Up, and Finish. Welcome to another episode of We Are Ready, where we focus on preparing ourselves so that we're ready for anything, whether it be a man-made disaster, a pandemic, or pandemonium. A lot of times we're talking about some doom and gloom. And a lot of times we're talking about things that could be relevant to you, your family, your friends, and your loved ones in any type of situation. Tonight, we'll be talking about school safety. School safety. So I hope that you join us over here on Square Mile Media Atlanta. Like, share, and subscribe. We got a whole lot of content, a whole lot of great information. One of the big things that we're looking at is when it comes down to school safety. What can we do to protect our young children? What can we do to protect our young children? A lot of times when I was growing up, school safety was not like it is today. Uh, there were not a lot, there were no school shootings that I knew about. People weren't bringing guns to school. You had some bullying, but it wasn't like today. It was not like today. So the schools are in a unique position. They are the educational platform that we use to prepare our young children for the future. And yet, these school systems are in danger. Tonight, I'll be joined by a friend, colleague, and another business partner who represents Parent Safety Alliance, and they specialize in tools, techniques, and strategies to help prepare schools and get schools ready when it comes down to school safety. Mr. Carl Rodler. Uh, Good afternoon, Mr. Rodler. How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Drummer, can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir. You're coming in loud and clear.
Yes, sir. So, God bless you for everything that you've done for the communities, and I've known you for over 20 years. You've been a mentor of mine and a guiding light to show people the right way to get involved with the community and not just talk the talk, but walk the walk, brother. And I appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm gonna pat myself on the back and give myself a thumbs up. Thank you, there.
Yeah, yeah. And you're also a pivotal part of the Parent Safety Alliance. Ever since we got started, right after the Uvalde, Texas shooting that kind of shocked everyone in
Yeah.
America, I know I remember reaching out to you, and you were one of the first people that told me that you were ready, and I love that because with moms on a mission and dads on duty. Together, we can bring together all of the parents in America to support the Parent Safety Alliance and school safety initiatives. And I'm not talking about at all trying to criticize the police or trying to say that the school isn't doing a good job already. All we're here to do is be an extra hand, an extra set of eyes, a little bit of an ear to the streets, per se, where if we get a heads up on any kind of plan, plot, revenge tactic that some child or some student might have to try to do something to the school, we can try to get a heads up on it and prevent it from ever starting, because a lot of people aren't aware of this, but most and almost 99.9% of all of these shootings that occur in America at schools are either started from a bullying incident. A lot of times there's never a police officer present at the school, and a lot of times the student that does these things has reached out for help and has not been able to find help or get connected to the right person in time before whatever mental crisis event they are having resorts to them getting a weapon. This also resorts to involving parents, to where every single parent is made aware if their child is planning on doing something that could be concerning. And our software at the allsafeapp.com, what we're hoping to do is give every police officer, every administrator, every teacher, every parent, and every student a tool that they can reach out and get the help they need, or if they know about something, they can report it to the right people, and this will prevent and hopefully allow the potential crime to be stopped before it actually happens, so that we're proactive and not reactive, brother.
Yes, yes. And a lot of the work that you that you're doing, and many of us, uh, the efforts that we put forward to ensure safety within our schools and our communities, especially our schools. I know you've, and I've been a part of it, where uh, you put a program together, and you spoke to so many groups and organizations, whether it's in DeKalb County, Fulton County, and I know we had some type of statement from one of the senators that spoke about the importance of school safety. Uh, can you speak to some of those things?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, drummer. Senator Warnock, Senator Ossoff, both have sent letters on their official letterhead supporting our movement, and we've actually had meetings in person at the Sam Nunn Federal Building with Senator Warnock's team, and he actually previously this year had his own children part of the lockdown where that shooting occurred at the hospital in town. His kids go to Pace Academy, which is right around the corner, and that entire school was placed on lockdown. So I know he feels the urgency of what we're doing, and then we've also um, gotten official communications from the White House for their official office of school safety and gun prevention safety. Has just, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago, was the very first day that they created that office at the White House, and we emailed them that very day when we saw it on the news that we wanted their support, and we got an official letter within 3 days from them saying that they loved our program and wanted to help us and help us expand throughout the country. So what we're also doing now is we're hoping we can get every parent in America to, and I know that's a ambitious goal, but we would love to have most parents in America at least to join our program, and it will be constructed similar to the way that AAA or like AARP is, where everyone joins, they become a member of our Parent Safety Alliance, and that will allow them to get not only benefits for school safety and benefits for safety for their neighborhood, but it'll also allow them to get discounts at local businesses that support our program. And so we're trying to tie in all of the local business owners, whether it's a corporate business or a small family business, into our program to where with any school within 10 miles of your business, you can help pay for the police officers that are booked through our program. And I don't know if you think I mentioned earlier, the key competency and key core function of our app takes existing police officers and provides them with a second income if they so would like to make one. On their days off, they can sit in front of the nearest school, little league, church, or concert venue, or anywhere where youth gather. And this can be close to their home and convenient, and they can make money to sit in front and guard the schools. And what this will allow them to do is connect with the parents, connect with the students, connect with the school administrators. And over time, as they work in front of the schools or work at the little league fields or work at the concert venue or work at the church, they will be able to rate the venue, and the venue will be able to rate them similar to the way that like an Uber driver does. And as they get better reviews and they give better reviews, it will automatically pair them together with their favorite venue that they want to watch. And then that way they build a relationship and a rapport with the parents, with the teachers, with the students, the crossing guards, the bus drivers, whoever it is they're interacting with. And so over the time, that not only are we protecting the schools, we're keeping the teachers safe too. We're making the students concentrate on learning. But now parents will trust their kids to go back to school and stop homeschooling their kids. So now we're going to be able to allow two parents to make an income for the household that's in a neighborhood that participates with our program. So we're trying to put every school, every church, every pre-K, every daycare, every single youth oriented program on the exact same footing when it comes to security, where they have the opportunity through our program to acquire cameras, bulletproof glass, doors with automated locks, directional lighting, all of the things that they may need to secure their particular campus. And a lot of people aren't aware of this, but most schools, even if they have the budget, they don't have the technology, the contractors, or the ability to implement some of this stuff. So, what we're trying to do is provide not only profits from the AllSafe app that can be donated to each underprivileged school within the parentsafetyalliance.org network. We want to make sure that all those schools are given the locks, the doors, the bulletproof glass, the cameras, the technology that they need. But then also, we want to make sure that these deductions are tax deductible. So when people give us a donation, they can deduct it off of their taxes. And if it's a person, a family, or if it's a corporation, they'll have a lesser tax liability at the end of the year when they pay their taxes. So it's a win-win for everyone, where they're giving us some money, but also they're getting a donation that shows that their family supports their community.
Wow. You know, um, we've seen many things that the school has to face. I think one of the things and one of the unique things about the All Safe app, because it involves the parents, the teachers, the schools, the administrators, the police officers, and concerned citizens within the community, so that they can be proactive when it comes down to protecting their schools. Uh, One of the things you brought up, when the schools in a neighborhood start to demise, either through negligence or where people don't feel safe, that community breaks down. If you don't have a school in your community, if you notice, school communities that don't have schools are usually uh, given bad ratings. Insurance rates go up, all kind of stuff goes up. When you have a school, a vibrant school, that community is strong. Matter of fact, I think a strong school is more powerful than a church in the community, uh, because that's going to bring you a group of young people, whether it's an elementary school, a daycare, elementary, junior high, high school. Uh, those platforms are designed to bring people into the community, and they stabilize the community, because a lot of times the schools are within walking distance of the community. So that makes the community strong. That makes everybody be involved. So it's really important that we maintain some type of safe school system. And I like what you're doing with making it available so people can bring a lot of these schools up to standards. All schools should be up to standards where when you drop your kid off or your kid walk down to the school, they feel or feel comfortable going to school at home. That's not the case in a lot of things. I forgot, and I'm pretty sure you can bring us up to speed on the amount of school shootings, the amount of violence that's going on in schools. And it's not just in cities, it's in rural areas too. But uh, the amount of violence that our schools are faced with, and now we've got some way to do something about it. So definitely uh, thanks for bringing that All Safe app to the forefront.
No, I appreciate you saying that, drummer. You know, and you're so connected to the community. Most people are not, in the sense, not to say that that's a bad thing on their part or anything. It's just a matter of people don't have time. People get distracted. People are so worried about their own daily schedule and their own, um, obligations that they have, and most people tend to overload themselves with trying to get ahead and trying to save money and trying to feed their family. And when you drop your kid off at school, I mean, that right there should be the time when most parents are able to relax and are able
Mm,
to kind of get their own stuff done. And
right.
what I've kind of through my research, what I've noticed is a lot of parents that do homeschooling, they don't get a break, so they're just constantly around their child and around, engaged with the learning process. And then also the kids are because they're not around other kids, can act out and start to have socialization issues and things. So I'm going to comment real quick about what you were saying a minute ago regarding the neighborhoods and stuff. Um,
Mhm.
Schools are tied to the property values directly. And if you look at tax commissioners, when they take in the taxes from your property each year and you pay your property taxes for whatever home you own, whether you go to a private or a public school, you're still paying those taxes. So my program will allow private, public schools both to participate with the public infrastructure that would respond in an incident. Whereas right now, people don't understand that unless a private school privately reaches out and pays for their own protection individually, they don't have cooperation with the public police system for schools, because the schools have their own police. They're not the same police that you call when you're at your house. And a lot of folks don't know that either. So what we're trying to do is make it to where real police officers that participate through our app will be trained and armed with the proper guns, armor, defensive measures that they will need in case someone does try to come onto the property. But also, the neighborhood watch program can be involved with our app. We can have all kinds of um, rewards from local businesses that are given to anyone that successfully thwarts a crime by their report. So if you, for example, see someone outside of your house loading a gun on the back of the trunk of their car, you could call the police and say, "Hey, there's some guy with a gun out in front of my house loading it right now. I don't know what he's doing, but can you check it out?" And if that kid gets followed, that someone investigates that, and that child was going to go shoot the school, well, now the person that told is going to get a secret reward sent to them from the local businesses that participate in our program. So you have incentives to protect yourself and your community now. You're not snitching per se just to do it, right?
Right.
So you're giving people a real reason to not only protect their community and themselves, but you're about to get financial benefit from it, right? So now everyone's going to do it.
Well, you can see the importance of it, and not to sound redundant, but uh, our communities are directly proportioned to schools, and like you said, the tax dollars, everything. And if schools are not healthy, meaning that you don't feel comfortable sending your kids to the school, you don't feel comfortable, uh, uh, you know, the teachers got to do more. Not only do they have to educate the kids, they have to protect the kids. But when you can get a system and put a system in place that can offset and balance that out, we can get real old-fashioned education back into the schools. We can get students to the point where they feel comfortable, they feel safe. Like you say, parents can start to feel better because they don't have to stress out trying to get back and pick up little Johnny and little Sally because there are some major disturbances and whatnot at the school. We see when parents have to go to schools when a school shooting happens or occurs, it's not a good thing. Parents are emotional. They usually don't have the tact or whatever to safely or go after someone that's taking over a school. But when you have police officers involved, and I don't think the answer is to equip the teachers with guns. So when you can put a system in place that's a win-win for everybody, I think that's a good thing. You know?
Well, drummer, the biggest thing in my mind that we have to remember is that these kids that are in the schools right now are going to be the mayors, the
Oh,
police officers, the lawyers, the judges, the people that we're going to rely on very soon after we're too old to take care of ourselves,
Right.
you know? And for my particular concern, I feel like that if you're not involved with the school in your community, then that just shows that you really don't care that much about your community. Because to be honest with you, your community, schools, like you said, is what shows the growth, the exponential um, determination and investment that people have made into their students and their kids. Because if your school looks like it's run down, it doesn't have the proper safety, you know what that means? It's a soft target, and now it's a attraction to one of these people that are crazy with guns. Because
Mm,
what they want is the least resistance. They want to be able to access whatever target that they're going for, and they don't want anybody to stop them. So if you have a school that is uncovered by police, well, guess what that means? That's a blinking red light that tells every single person, you know what? If you want to come and have some target practice, well, we've got a bunch of unguarded kids and teachers here. And
wow.
unfortunately, I hate to say it like that in a way that's so, grim and doom and gloom, like you mentioned before, but you have to tell people the realistic scenario. And
Right.
and I want to tie this into parents too, man. Like a lot of at home, a lot of the children that commit these acts have mental health concerns. And what our program does is it allows someone who's being bullied or has a mental health crisis to ask for help without being put on blast or being made fun of. It's a secret process that pairs them with a counselor that's not at the school, but it's still a state approved, state licensed counselor, but it's based on their home zip code and then any counselor that is approved in that county. So
Mm,
that way, the other students don't see the kid walk into the counselor's office, because as soon as they know that that child is in the counselor's office, they start making fun of them even worse, right?
mm-hmm.
So they double down. So now, and then when the person asks for help at home or asks for help within the school, a lot of times they either don't get it, or if they do, it's kind of a half-ass effort, just, the bare minimum. So what I was hoping that our program could do is tell parents through our AI developed software that Georgia Tech and the Atlanta Technology Development Center is helping us build through machine learning. It will what's called skimming and look at each registered student's public social media pages. And if any of the preloaded concerning keywords, images, or videos that would depict someone that is either crying out for help or is planning a violent act, it will send a notification email to the parent of that student, the counselor at their school, and the principal at their school. No one will get arrested, but it will put everyone on notice that the guns and weapons at the home need to be secured. And that way, you're removing that possibility of the student that is having a crisis getting a hold of mom and dad's gun, because
Mm,
that has been the key place that has turned into their source if they're not able to buy it themselves. And if they're under 18, or in some cases under 21, depending on what state they're in, their parents' gun safe or parents' closet is essentially the only place they can get it from. So
mm,
if we can take that chess piece off the table, per se, for that child, they no longer are able to commit such a heinous act. They may be able to get in a fight with somebody or get their hold of something that's less lethal, but they won't be able to get a high powered weapon of war, right?
okay.
Because that's the difference here. Is we know kids are going to get their hands on weapons. Okay? We can't be everywhere all the time, but we can damn sure be keeping a better eye on the weapons of war. And the ones, I'm not saying take it from the parents. I'm not saying restrict who can own one, because I don't want to be involved in gun control. I just want the people that do own them to be held responsible. So if you have that kind of gun, it is your duty to keep it secure and out of hands of anybody but yourself. Right? That's
Exactly.
it. That's it, man. And it's just common sense stuff. And if people get upset about that, well, they're the ones that aren't securing their weapon, right? And I own weapons, but guess what? They're locked up for my kids. I don't leave them laying somewhere where they can access them, because then I would be giving them something that's deadly. And right. And it can happen with things besides guns. I mean, it can be knives, it can be, you know, fireworks, it can be explosives, it could be any kind of a car, even can be turned into something lethal. If your kid gets your keys, right? I mean, a pair of scissors can become a lethal weapon. But what we have to do is take the most lethal weapons, which, like I said a few minutes ago, are weapons of war, and get those off of the playing field for these children,
Right.
right? That's the most, to me, the easiest thing that we can do as a society is just, come up with better ways of notifying parents when their kids are having a mental break, because a lot of times the kids know how to act around their parents to where they don't show the
Oh,
signs, right?
right.
They can play everything's all good and dandy, right, when they're in front of mom and dad, but as soon as they get back around those bullies at school, it all breaks down again.
Hmm.
And that's why we need to let the parents know, hey, look, your kid may need some help. We're not accusing. We're saying, hey, look, we needed you to talk to your child. Please secure your weapons until this is resolved. Period.
Right.
And that's just that, to me, that doesn't seem like it's too much to ask.
Right. Well, I think, and I really do believe that um, parents want the best for their children. Nobody wants their child to go to a school and act up, especially in a violent manner. I don't think none of the parents that, when you look at all the school shootings that have taken place over the last couple of years, none of the parents actually would have wanted their children or their child to go into that school and shoot it up. None of the parents would have wanted their children to be victims as well. So it's not when uh, a situation can happen, or if it might happen. We are in a situation today where uh, Monday morning, uh, they will be faced with some type of school violence situation. Matter of fact, here in the United States, uh, the numbers have to be up to constitute it to be a school shooting. They don't even report some of the violent situations that happens in schools because I think uh, you gotta kill. If you just have a shooting, that's not enough. You have to kill at least 2 to 3 kids
Yeah,
to
yeah. The
or,
it's 4 people, I believe, is
yeah,
the
4 people, and
threshold.
that sounds crazy, Kyle. When I first heard those statistics, I said, well, what do you mean? You got to kill at least 4 kids, 4 babies
Dr-
before.
Drummer, you know what? And the way you're acting right now with your like shock and amazement is the same way I reacted. I said, "What? What do you mean? You have to have 4 people? What does that mean?" And honestly, the reason they do that is because I don't know if you've realized this, but like insurance companies, when they settle with people that have like incidental deaths and things like that happen, they've actually come up with an algorithm to put a price on someone's life based on their age and education. And
Okay.
and the way that that algorithm works is it takes your, you know, your education, your race, your the zip code you live in, and then it multiplies the number of years that you would, quote unquote, by the census data, have lived, and then the amount of money you would have made during those years, give or take a few percentage points for a error basis, positive or negative of the actual number. But dude, they literally can put a dollar amount on someone's life, and it is disgusting. Because
Ah,
to me, no one should be allowed to be shot when they're just an innocent person at school trying to live. And liberty, I don't know if you realize what liberty is, but it's basically the ability to walk around in relative safety without
Mm,
being in fear of getting mowed down by a weapon of war,
right,
right? Like, it's one thing if you're like, okay, my kid went outside today and he got stung by a bee or got bit by a dog or fell off their skateboard. You know,
right,
that's some shit you can expect. Oh, I'm sorry. That's some stuff that you can expect. But
right.
when you talking about I sent my kid to school today and I don't mean to get graphic, but some of these incidents have ended up where the parents had to identify their children based on their shoes and their clothing because their bodies were blown apart and there was nothing left. So you're talking about how gruesome it is. And for someone to put a count of 4 on an incident like that to make it reportable, to
Wow.
me, just shows you how desperate that they are to hide the facts, right? And if you and I'm not trying to be get doom and gloom like you mentioned earlier, but
Right.
we're going to be realistic here. There have been almost not one, but 2 shootings per day this calendar year now,
Mm,
right? And so there's only what 27 days left in December
right,
in this year in 2023.
right.
So that means 330 or something odd days, there have been 2 or more shootings in America that have
Mm.
equal 4 or more deaths. So,
That's acceptable.
well, that shows you the complacency and that people are getting used to it,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
right? So now you're not talking about people being shocked anymore, right? And that's the part where we have to stop it because now when it becomes a normal, accepted part of American life that kids and innocent people are getting shot for no freaking reason, okay, we need a change in government. We need a change in policy. We need a change in the status quo per se because that's not acceptable. Okay, it's not. It, every single child and every single parent should have a reasonable expected expectation to come home at night when they leave and go to school in the morning,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean, you should not think that it's even in the cards that you're dealt for that day that you might get blown apart by a 50 caliber round.
Right. Yeah, oh, yeah. Like you
I
said,
mean, you're a
you know,
you're a military man yourself, drummer. You know
oh,
what how big those rounds are,
oh, yeah. Those, and when we look at children, when you look at
right?
some of these weapons, like again, I'm a gun owner. Uh, I have no problems with people owning guns. However, there should be some type of responsibility, especially, and we're talking about kids taking guns to school because they're being bullied. We're talking about kids. I had a friend that lost his grandson. I think he was like 6 or 7 years old. He was playing with a gun, and that gun wasn't, just wasn't monitored by. It was a young lady who had the gun. She was using it for her own personal protection, but they ended up losing a child. And a couple of years ago, uh, I had a situation where uh, there was a young man that took a gun to school. Luckily, he didn't use it, and they were able to catch the gun by a random search at the school. But that young man, who's a good student, pretty much a little nerdy guy, but ended up in detention with rough kids, rougher than the bullies that was bullying him. So it's important that we get a handle on this thing when it comes down to, not invading privacy, but at some point it is what it is. You got to uh, it's got to be an exchange, and it's going to take a little uh, of both sides. People, the parents got to be proactive. The schools have to be proactive. The police have to be proactive. There has to be a certain amount of respect and just value in making sure that our young population of future mayors, presidents, you know, factory owners, business owners are kept alive in school. And it's unacceptable to have those numbers where you got 2 or 3 kids getting killed every day. And it's not enough because sometimes these schools, in order to keep their numbers down when it comes down to violence, a lot of schools, in order to keep their numbers down, if there's some incidents, they don't report a lot of incidents. Now, some schools, uh, those incidents happen, or stabbing or shooting or something like that, it immediately gets gameplay. But because the money that's involved, and the property taxes being tied directly to a school, a lot of schools might underreport, or the board or whatever governs the safety of kids, makes it where you get numbers like 4 to 5 people.
Well,
And
drummer, can I tell you one thing about that?
go ahead.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. Well, you just made a really good point. Okay. So the culture, okay, and I'm talking about the internal culture of the school board, the administrators, and the powers that be within a school district
Hmm.
is fear. It is intimidation. And it is, if you blow a whistle, you better be ready. Because what happens is they've got that house of cards stacked with so much money and corruption. And I'm not talking about just DeKalb County, I'm talking about all over the country. The school boards, because, a lot of people don't know this either, drummer. So
Okay.
I'm going to say it, over 75% of the dollars that are collected from your property taxes, 75 cents out of every dollar that you give them go to schools, right?
Hmm.
But did you know that in DeKalb County, there's over 15,000 employees that are not teachers,
Hmm. What are
right?
they
I'm
doing?
talking about people that run the castle, right? The
Okay.
hierarchy, the layer after layer of bureaucracy. So what I've done is just kind of stop messing with the schools directly, because every time I've attempted to get anything done through a school board, there's too many layers of people that have to approve things, and they do that by design, so that by the time you actually get one of your initiatives approved, it's up
Hmm.
to the next election is come and gone, and that all they care about is telling you what you want to hear until they get reelected, and they got another 4 to 8 years to sit there,
Oh yeah, do nothing.
right? So what I would like to do is start my, I've pivoted, and I've started only going through the private sector and people like you, churches, youth groups, PTAs, um, private corporations, foundations. Like for instance, today we were at the Avalon Hotel for a mental health fundraiser, where there's a company um, in Alpharetta that hosted an event today, and I'm going to give you their name. And they're specifically it was called the Jingle Jog, and what we did is we ran around the Avalon Hotel for the Summit Counseling Center. And what the Summit Counseling Center did is they created the Jingle Jog that had a race that went around the hotel property and around the Avalon. And then they had a Nutcracker brunch event where we all ate lunch and watched the ballerinas and the Nutcracker performers and stuff. And I just want to say that the Summit Counseling Center out of Johns Creek up there in Alpharetta, man, they did a really good job. And what they're doing is, this whole initiative was to raise money to create better mental health awareness and to prevent suicides. And I'm going to share from this email that they just sent me. Okay, I'm going to send this to you in the chat. So
Okay.
basically, it says suicide is the second leading cause of death for children aged 10 to 24 in Georgia. You know what the other one is?
What?
Gunshots.
Okay.
And most of the time, for the young kids, it's by accident, and then as they get older, it's more and more intentional, right? And so, and it says half of all lifetime mental illnesses begin at age 14,
Mm.
and 75 are by age 24. So they've been experiencing a lifetime mental illness symptom before they graduate high school. And this company, Summit Counseling Center, knows what they're talking about.
Mm.
This lady, Rachel Newcomer, she's the director of development and sent me this email directly when I asked her. She said, let us at Summit remove the stigma from talking and treating mental illness. So I'm reaching out to them directly to ask them to help us prevent mental health in Georgia. So let me tell you one more crazy fact. Are you ready?
Ready?
More than 61,000 Georgia students in 6th through 12th grade, okay, which is middle school through high school, have reported harming themselves.
Mm.
That is effed up, bro.
Oh, yes.
61,000 Georgia students,
Mm.
not in America, just our state, have
For
reported
sure.
trying to harm themselves. Even if they didn't kill themselves, they done something to hurt themselves intentionally.
Right.
Okay, and then here's another one. Are you ready? And these,
Ready.
these facts are vetted and researched and 100% true because the counseling center from Summit are the ones that sent me these. Okay,
Okay.
they've conducted over 200 training sessions to come with these and surveys to come up with these data. So listen to this. It says 78,000 students in Georgia have reported seriously considering attempting suicide, and nearly 40,000 attempted actually trying it.
Wow.
That
Wow.
is 6th through 12th grade in Georgia.
Mm.
I don't want my kids to be in that number.
Right. Well, you know what? I had a young lady. I think she was 13 or 14 years old.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
uh 2 years ago, she took suicide. She was being bullied at a school,
Yep.
and you know, there's so much going on that what was not going on when I was in school.
Well, dude,
Uh,
it's way more intense now because
oh
of
yeah,
social media.
cyberbullying. You like you said, the social media is taking it to a whole different level.
Well, they gang
It
up on you, bro. They all
oh
do it together.
goodness,
Right.
and parents don't even have a clue of what's going on.
Dude, when we were growing up, somebody would have to physically come up and put their hands on you to bully you, or they'd have to yell something, and
Right.
other people would hear it. The way it's happening now, it's almost in secret, and the kids have shame or stigma to reach out for help, and then they never get any help, and that's when it builds and builds and builds.
Wow.
Right? And there are two answers to solve their problem. They either kill themselves and try to commit suicide, or they go get a gun and try to hurt the person that's bullying them.
Something else. Right. Yeah.
So
And
we're
and you know
right.
what? One of the things that a lot of parents don't realize, this is why it's critical, and part of the All Safe app and a lot of what you're doing, Dad's on duty, mom's on mission. A lot of times when you interacting with kids, a lot of people don't realize that their kids have been co-conspirators when it comes down to bullying. They might not be bullying directly, but they sign on to it because they either condoned it or accepted it or was some part of it. And when those kids come back to the classroom, they're looking for them and they're looking for the teacher that might have allowed this to go on.
The one
Uh,
that ignored them.
oh yes.
It's the teacher. A lot of times they'll tell a teacher, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is because the teacher is number one, okay, people don't realize this. Okay, I have to back up just a little bit. A lot of teachers are quitting their job because they're terrified.
Oh yeah. They
Okay,
certainly.
so with that loss of teachers, okay, you're not only having a brain drain per se, where a knowledge gap is creating uh, a and everybody tries to blame it on COVID. We're not doing that anymore. It's because since COVID, a lot of kids have remained in homeschool, and what that does is it hurts their social skills and their confidence. But then also they don't learn as much or as detailed of learning, And so now a lot of employers are aware that the kids that are within that year window from 2020 to 2025 or whatever, they're going to think those kids are behind because they were part of this whole last few years of incidents, right?
Right.
So, what I'm trying to create through our app is the mental health portal through AI that identifies questionable or threatening posts on public pages, but also there's a I need help button that allows people to report that they need help themselves or they can report someone else that's bullying them. And the person will be dealt with or removed and changed rosters to a different class or moved to a whole other school.
Mm.
Right. So we're taking the bully out of the equation and we're not getting them kicked out of school. We're just moving them to different schools. Or
Right.
if they can't behave themselves at any school, then at that point we'll have to involve the police.
Right. Right.
But we
Right.
also have jujitsu, boxing, football, basketball, volleyball, cheerleading, um, self defense, like martial arts classes, Muay Thai, any kind of stuff like that are going to be part of our program that local studios and local clubs, YMCAs, and sports clubs will allow our students to join as part of our program, and their fee will be paid for through the charity. So
Oh,
you'll be able to channel that anger and have an outlet where if you're frustrated, you don't have to go to bed and wake up with that same anger still in your soul. You've had a chance to release it through some type of athletic activity or, like I said, boxing or self defense class.
right.
So that's where that comes in with what you're doing with Dads on Duty. You
Right.
know, I'm hoping we can get lots of dads to volunteer to help us. The same with
Oh,
Mom on a Mission. The Moms on a Mission. Both of those are awesome that you're doing that, man, because that
thank
gives
you.
people a way, to help.
Right.
Because you don't
Oh,
only need money. We don't only want money. We want people to help us with their time and their advice and
oh,
their mentorship.
yeah. We definitely need bodies, people to come on board and help. Well, one of the things I know we got a big event coming up on the 16th uh, at the what's that West End Motor Lounge where
The West Side Motor Lounge, yes, sir. It's the December 16th at the West Side Motor Lounge. It's a brand new outdoor, indoor bar slash festival type venue, and we're having everything from face painting and balloons and all kinds of live performances for music. We're going to have a Toys for Tots toy drive for the kids at the City of Refuge. We're going to have raffles to win a Cadillac. We're going to have all kinds of food, wings, burgers, fries. They have really good veggie burgers and veggie plates for people that are vegans. There's a
okay,
coffee bar. Of course, there's drinks for beer, mixed drinks, wine, whatever people might want. So this is December 16th at noon, and it's located on Northside Drive, right next to between Georgia Tech and the Falcon Stadium, right there where all that new development is on the
yeah,
west side. Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
I got to get a couple of those tickets for that Cadillac, man. That's a nice Cadillac, man. And plus, it's going for a worthy cause. Uh, anytime you can help young people, help groups, organizations that go out of their way to help young people, that's a good thing. Is there closing out? Is there anything you want to leave with us or to say or finish up?
Well, I want to thank you, drummer, for letting me be on your station. I would love to do this again
Oh, yes.
if you don't mind.
Come back for part two, part three. We got to do this, baby. It don't stop.
And then right here, I'm uploading this this one picture. I don't know why it's not working. I was trying to upload this one picture real quick, But anyways, I'm having some technical difficulties. But yeah, if you go to allsafeapp.com, you can see everything. And then if
Okay.
you also go to the parentsafetyalliance.org, and if you call 678-428-4896, that's my direct phone number. And then if you want to email me, I'm going to say it twice. Parents with a S, Parents Safety Alliance at Yahoo. Again, that is parents with a S, Parents Safety Alliance at yahoo.com. You can email me directly, and I check that email every morning. And I would love to have um, you guys get in touch with me and make suggestions, be part of the team. If you guys can come out and help us in any way, we need your support. Of course, we're looking for any kind of donations that anybody would be able to help with. And we also would like people to come to the car show again on December 16th at the and support us. And if you could please also make sure that you take care of your kids and tell the parents and the teachers that are within your school community to please also get involved with us.
Uh, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a plum pleasing, powerful pleasure to have you on board this evening. I'm looking forward. I guess that's about 2 weeks from now when we'll do the Toys for Toy and raffle that Cadillac off. Uh, Also, for everybody out there, definitely, if you can, go over to the allsafeapp.com, join our Facebook group, Parents Safety Alliance, over on Facebook. Also, Dad's on duty, Mom's on a mission. We really putting the band back together because it's going to take all our effort to protect our schools, our communities, and just everything. Because when the kids get out of control, that's it. I mean, we if you don't have a voice now, just imagine when you get 20 more years on you and you can't tell the kids or you can't move or motivate the kids to do something. That's why we encourage men and women to come back on board in the community. Okay? We need to bring daddies and mamas back so that young people know that they feel safe. Back in the day, it wasn't that hard for young people to confide in somebody, a big mama, a grandmama, a uncle, or somebody, and then that took a lot of the pain off of them, that edge, and then they were not, in turn, more likely to take suicide, go into a school, commit some act of violence against a teacher, a student, fellow student. So these things are critical, and these are probably the biggest concerns here in America: school violence. And we plan on doing something about it. Planning on doing something about it. And everything starts with you. This is Reginal Drummer, the peopleologist and author of the book, Find Them, Focus, Follow, and Finish. You can find that book on www.myheartshop.com/shop-1. And by all means, remember the secret, the secret to walking on water is just knowing where the rocks are. Let's make it a great day and look after the kids. That's our future.